Hi everyone, Bernard here with the latest Citizen vlog. It's a little Citizen Pass. We're going to have a look at this today. Official yearbook. Have a quick look through here. Some memories, season 78-79. So obviously it's looking back on the 77-78 season, etc. And I look forward to 78-79. A couple of interesting articles in it just to share with you and go through it. Some good memories as well for you. Please, if you're new to the channel, push the old subscribe button. That'd be great. Push the bell notifications so you know when these little things are coming out. And please, just forgive me, there's any sort of lag with the audio, etc. I'm having to use a tablet and phone at the moment rather than a laptop, and I've got laptop problems, so I'm just saving the pennies for a new one. So just bear with me anyway, and please accept my apologies now if it does get a little bit behind. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, depending on its mood or how fast the internet is, etc. Anyway, let's have a quick look at this. Yeah, it's a great. I mean, there's a great image obviously there. Look at that Pat Kippax in the background against Wolves. I think it's looks like Gary Owen there. Looks like Gary Owen on it. I will ask you some little questions as we're going through this. Yeah, and obviously the guy in charge, obviously at the time, was look at that shirt, Peter Swell. Look at the collar, absolutely fantastic. But we had a couple of interesting things to say, and obviously it was a time of trouble and problems on and off the pitch as well. Obviously, and he was talking. And this is just quoting from Peter Swell. Tough new legislation on ground safety control forced Manchester City to foot a hefty £250,000 bill to bring Main Road up to the standard required by sweeping government regulations implemented in the wake of the Ibrox Park disaster several years ago. So this was because of the Ibrox Park. There wasn't anything else, obviously there's other worse things to follow, wasn't there? Every detail of the recommendations was adhered to, providing us with a licence which makes our ground not only one of the safest in the country but also one of the best. The alternative was simple. Had we not carried out this task, which cost us the price of a new player on today's inflated transfer market, £250,000, our capacity would have been slashed from 52,500 to somewhere in the region of 30,000, and with the average last season hitting 42,000, the highest for 30 years, it would have meant an awful lot of people would have been disappointed. So I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it was a time, the late 70s, when we're actually getting close to the United crowd. Obviously we've been dominant in crowds pre Second World War, First World War. Around that time we've been dominating crowds, but obviously after the Second World War we did see the change, and United were getting far better crowds on a more regular basis, but we'd closed the gap again by the late 70s by obviously having a great 70s decade. Even though we didn't win masses of trophies, we were playing great football, had a great team, so we had been closing the gap on United with crowds, and that 42,000 average is probably about 5,000 or 6,000 down on United's for the same season. So yeah, that was interesting to look back on that. You've got Tony Book there, hopes and disappointments there, and what's going to happen. A few signings he'd made during the closed season. Asa Hartford, a 250,000 capture from West Brom, so we did spend some money. Dave Watson, 275,000. Obviously 2 summers ago they purchased Brian Kidd, etc. So there was a lot of talent there, and obviously at the beginning of last season, Mike Shannon was a record £300,000 capture, a figure top when Luton paid £350,000 for Paul Futcher, who obviously had a time at City as well. The hope is both Paul and Colin can prove as valuable to Manchester City as the others have before them. So they're talking about Paul Futcher, and also the sign of Colin Hulston from Ipswich a few days before the season opened. So they weren't big names, were they? But we were still signing players. There's a great little image there talking about Main Road, and a great image of the North Stand and the main stand there. Well, I've sat in that bit between the main stand and the North Stand quite a few times over the years, for various reasons. A couple of players here to show you. Obviously, I think you'll know who that one is, won't you? Just quickly, you'll know who that guy is. Great image. Not this one, perhaps not as well known, but don't get him mixed up with his brother. That's a hint for you who that is. No doubt you'll know who this guy is. I think you'll know who that is. City legend. And of course, he was talking about Colin Hulston, who we just signed. Obviously, that's him in his Ipswich kit. Obviously, Ipswich played for a good team, as we know, in the late 70s, early 80s. Ipswich Town had a great team. It was quite a good, thought to be quite a good capture at the time. He was not a massive big name star, and we got all the normal stars: Joe Corrigan, Kenny Clements, Gary Owen, Willie Donachie there, fantastic. And it's names that roll off your tongue as City fans these days, isn't it? Brian Kidd, Asa Hartford, Tommy Booth, Mike Shannon. Absolutely brilliant names. And the King, obviously Colin Bell fighting against injury, wasn't he? Trying to make comebacks. Keith McRae, Roger Palmer, Tony Henry, Paul Power. So all in their own way, obviously going to be around. Some of them are going to be around for our 81 cup run, weren't they, and things like that. And there's a good little piece on Brian Kidd there at home with his wife Margaret, children Claire and Mark. Great image of Brian Kidd. They did some of these things in the programmes as well at the time at home with the stars, which is always nice to watch. I mean, can you think of the other teams Brian Kidd played for? He played for 4 other English teams. Can you name those 4? We'll have a look at that in a bit for you. And also he managed 3 English clubs. Managed, not assistant manager, not coach, assistant. He was the actual manager at 3 English clubs. Can you name the 3 English clubs Brian Kidd managed as well? Just we'll go through that at the end with you if you find that out. There's some great images of a match there. I mean, don't try and read the writing. Look at the pictures of the images and trying to figure out where that ground is. Can you think what that ground is? It's an FA Cup game from the season before. Just from those images, can you recognise the ground? That's a little test for you. It should be an easy one for most of you there. And there's a great piece on the Junior Blues. Roger Reid, and it's obviously just quoting from this. Now established as the country's leading junior football supporters organisation, the Junior Blues Club at Manchester City continues to expand at an enormous rate. Membership alone now stands at a staggering 7,000, having built from an initial foundation of just over 200 less than 5 years ago. So I mean, yeah, it was a really growing thing, the Junior Blues. Obviously, it was a bit late for me to join. I was a bit long in the tooth by the time the Junior Blues come along. But that's a famous picture from Bellevue, where 2,500 turned up at Bellevue there for one of our meetings. You know, it was an absolutely fantastic image. I'm sure a lot of people perhaps can even recognise themselves on there if they know themselves and pick themselves out. Well, that's the 1978 Junior Blues rally at Bellevue, which is absolutely fantastic. Really good thing to. I've seen that a few times actually. It's really good to watch. And there's a picture of the squad for 78, 79. There's some names written on it of when they left and what club they went to. So whether this isn't mine originally, I got this back off the internet. I think I did own a copy, but I actually gave my copy to someone else. So this is one I bought, but I wrote little things on of what club they went to, so obviously which team they moved from City and went to, which sort of thing I would have done, but I wouldn't have marked it on my programme. It was an interesting season, 77-78. I mean, obviously we went out the UEFA Cup at the first round, beaten by Vidza Lodz, which I've talked about before on other things. We drew 2-2 at home and drew 0-0 at their place, which meant we went out on the away goals rule, which was such a shame. The League Cup, we made the quarter-finals and we got beat by Arsenal after a replay. And the 4th round, we lost away at Notts Forest after that leads you. That game I showed you before. I nearly said it then, didn't I? I'll give you the ground, didn't I? So please, nearly give it away. And that's a great advert. Cavalier State Bars, remember them? The Cavalier State Bars. Well, I particularly remember that one there. Look, the one at the bottom, the Golden Lion. Obviously, it used to be when I lived in Withington. That was one of my regular haunts until I moved to Abbey Hay Gorton when I got married. But up to the age of 19, my early 20s, I lived in Withington, and Golden Lion was. We had the White Lion, which was the first pub I ever spent time in when I was about 13, 14, believe it or not. And then we moved to would go into the Red Lions. You had the White Lion, the Red Lion, and then you had the Golden Lion. So they were the ones. They were my regular haunts in the late 70s and yeah, just my late 70s. I did go occasionally in the early 80s, but I'd moved to Abbey A then Gorton, so it was harder to get to. So yeah, that's the official year, but not masses of stuff in it, but it was good. It was sort of interesting. No price on it. I'm not sure if you actually got it, if you actually were giving it free at the time. I'm not sure how it worked, to be honest with you. But it's great to look about some of the adverts as well. You know, I got Francis Lee there. Look, Francis Lee's paper advert. Some really good. The Royal Scot Marple Bridge. Any of you remember the Royal Scot Marple Bridge? Just some interesting. And this Ada machinery used to appear a lot in the programmes. You know, so they spent quite a bit of money. Obviously, must have had a link with City somewhere along the line. But it's good to look at the thing. Look at these. So you've got Harp there. Remember Harp there. Soames's club. I don't remember going in Soames's club. You could subscribe to the Football Pink if you're outside of the country. All the rates there for subscribing. So, and the Bowden Hotel, which is still then near where I live now, not far away from me, a couple of miles, 2 or 3 miles away from me, the Bowden Hotel, obviously. But no, it's always good to look through the advertisements. Yeah, I mean the pictures. I mean, I'm sure you got most of these pictures if you're an old guy like me. Obviously, you've got Peter Barnes and Paul Futcher there, as opposed to Ron Futcher, his brother. So they got Peter Barnes, Paul Futcher. Of course, the wonderful legend Dave Watson. What a great player he was. And it seems Brian Kidd played for. Well, yeah. I mean, obviously as a player. He played for United, of course, which you probably got, and Arsenal, which you probably got. But the other two were Everton and Bolton. So a lot of people forget he played for Everton as well. But yeah, so United, Arsenal, Everton, and Bolton, and he managed Barrow as a manager, Preston North End, and Blackburn Rovers. And of course, the eagle-eyed, and I nearly let it slip before we beat Leeds in the third round of the FA Cup before losing to Forest. But obviously, that's Ellen Road, isn't it? Great image of Ellen Road. And as always, a lot of City fans there that day, and a lot of trouble outside, which there always was when you went to Leeds, whether you went mob-handed or not. It was always not the nicest, friendliest place to go, was it? If you're at my hill, can you remember those times? Yeah, I mean, we finished 4th that season actually in the league. The final table there, that's actually finished. But we were favourites, I think, that season to win it. One of the favourites, but Nottingham Forest, with their first season back in the First Division, came from nowhere to win it. But we did finish a creditable 4th after finishing, I think, the 2nd the season before. So we did pretty well. As I say, we're disappointing UEFA Cup run. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. A little look back at the official yearbook season 78-79. A couple of questions for you there to answer. I hope you did okay on those not simple questions, but it's always nice to just keep your brain active and keep you going. And I hope you enjoyed that. Please follow me on Twitter, all the latest on City, and if you're into movies and TV dramas, please join me on there. I'm on Twitter at nostalgia_movie or on at Charles Dinneen. Dinneen spelled D-I-N-N-E-N, and both stuff appears on both accounts, so you can pick both or join one and you'll see links with the other one anyway. I'm on Facebook as well with Bernard Dinneen with links to moviegamenostalgia.com, so please have a look on there for old rare DVDs, movie posters from the 90s and 2000s, and board games, more the retro older board games as well. So if you can spend a couple of minutes, thumbs up to you, you can spend us a couple of minutes looking at moviegamenostalgia.com. Anyway, thanks for joining for this. Hopefully you can join me again for another little City vlog and something, a little special on City in the near future. Anyway, what we're going to do the rest of the day, have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, more importantly, look after your family, and let's all look after each other. This is Bernard saying goodbye for now. I'll see you all soon. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.